Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is my story. I'm going to start this story a few days prior to my trip. I had booked a remote cabin for a weekend getaway. My boyfriend and I had gone through a rough patch a month or two prior, and we both needed some time to cool off. I think it was mutual. He went to visit his family, and I started looking for a place to rent somewhere secluded, somewhere far away from everything. And that's when I found it. The Whispering Pines cabin, tucked away at the edge of a forest about 4 hours from my apartment. The listing called it a secluded writer's escape. Perfect. That's what I needed. A place to write, to read, to get away from the stress of work and relationships and life in general. When I arrived, the sun was already dipping below the trees. The cabin looked just like the photos, weathered wood, a small porch surrounded by thick pines. I stepped onto the porch and rapped my knuckles against the door. When no one answered, I tried the handle. It was unlocked. Inside, everything was clean, minimal, almost too minimal. There was no TV, no Wi-Fi, and spotty cell service. Just a wood stove, a tiny kitchen, and a single bedroom with a big window that faced the woods. I set my things down and got to work making a fire. I brought a backpack full of books, so I settled in with a novel while I waited for the flames to catch. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest around the cabin grew darker. I watched the shadows lengthen between the trees. That's when I saw it, a flicker of movement between the trees. It was quick, barely more than a shadow, but enough to catch my attention. I blinked. Was it a deer, a wild animal, something else? I couldn't tell. I shook my head, figuring it was probably nothing. Must have been a branch or something. I went back to my book and the fire. That night I slept well, or maybe I just got tired from all the stress of the day and the long drive. Sometime in the night, I woke up to the sound of the floor creaking. At first, I thought it might just be the wood settling, but the steps were too deliberate, slow, like someone was walking through the living room. I held my breath, straining to hear more. Then I saw it, under the bedroom door, the faint glow of a flashlight beam. I knew I hadn't left any lights on. I stayed frozen, unsure of what to do, unsure if I should get up, call out, try to figure out what was out there. I was alone in a cabin in the woods, and I knew I was being watched. The beam shifted once, twice, then disappeared. A few seconds later, I heard the soft sound of the back door opening. I didn't know it could open. I hadn't used it. The only way in or out of the bedroom was through the front door, which was still locked. Whoever was out there knew their way around. I waited, too scared to move. Eventually, I gathered the courage to inch toward the window. It didn't have a screen, and the lock was simple. I pushed it open, climbed out as quietly as I could, and bolted into the woods. I didn't look back. I kept running until I found a dirt road and eventually flagged down a car. The police searched the cabin but didn't find anyone. They said they'd check the area, see if there were any signs of a break-in. Nothing had been stolen, nothing broken. But on the kitchen counter, right where I'd left my tea mug, was a note written on the back of an old map. Didn't know you'd be awake. And then below it, circled in red ink, were the words, "Come back." So yeah, now I'm freaked out. I didn't know what to do. Should I go back? Would I be safe? What was that thing out there? I decided to go back. I figured if whatever was in there wanted me, it would have taken me. Besides, I had to get my stuff back. The police were no help. They refused to accompany me, said they'd meet me there in the morning, which wasn't exactly helpful since it was already morning and I had to use the bathroom. So I got in my car and drove back. The whole ride, I kept half expecting to see the thing standing on the side of the road, but of course I didn't. And when I arrived, it was just a dark, creepy cabin in the middle of the woods. The police were waiting for me outside. We went through the motions, pretending that I didn't just bolt out of there like I was being chased by a rabid badger. I signed the paperwork, got my things, and practically ran to my car. To say the experience was unsettling would be an understatement. If it was just a bear or something, why did it leave a note? If it was some sick prank, why circle "come back" in freaking red ink? I've never seen anything like it and I don't want to. Well, the end. The police never found anything or anyone. The cabin is still there though. I haven't been back, but every once in a while I swear I see movement in the woods when I look out my window. But when I get up close, it's always just trees.